comic book fans, and welcome to another exciting edition of Cammy's Comic Corner, Book of the Month for July 2011. I'm your host, as always, Cammy. Now, what do I got in store for you this month? It's something strange, it has science in it, and it's also a little fantasy sprinkled in there just for good measure. What am I talking about? I'm talking about strange science fantasy from IDW Publishing, written and illustrated by Scott Morse. Now, I first talked about this title last year, and I think it was last August, when issue 2 came out. Issue 1 came out, and I was looking at it in the store, so I was like, hey, this is pretty interesting stuff. I'll definitely keep an ear out. And then the second issue came out, and it blew me away. It had me hooked, and it had me at hello, pretty much. Well, for that issue anyway. But basically, what we have here is the brilliant mind of Scott Morse just giving us a couple of different one-shots. And this collection collects said one-shots with beautiful pinups by Paul Pope. And in each one-shot, we are introduced to the situation. There's a date, there's a place, and then you get introduced to the characters involved. And they're pretty zany stuff. For instance, we have different beings like the Headlight, the Shogunate, the Foolish Fling, the Projectionist, and Gigantic. And each story somehow focuses on one of the, you know, it's strange, it has some sort of science element involved, or it's very fantasy, or hell, in some of them, they're all combined. And it makes for really good storytelling, just, you know, just random mashups. Think kind of like Sucker Punch, where they had those, you know, the fighting parts and everything that had different mashups. Yeah, only it's great, and it's great every issue in comic book form. My favorite, as I mentioned earlier, was the Shogunate from issue 2, where basically you have this fishing village have their own food source turn against them, and they create, with, you know, the best weapon builders and magic, this armored samurai warrior who's able to fly up into space, get advice from an elder god, and the god tells him the source of this problem is this one guy called the Knucklehead, go defeat him. After fighting with the Knucklehead, they find out that he's the good guy, and actually the big ominous space being is the bad dude, and they all fly up there, fish, samurais, warriors, and the Knucklehead himself to take care of him. And again, and like issue number 3 with the Projectionist, you have this character with a projector for a head in old Hollywood, and someone's taken out his kind, and he has to be very detective-y himself and find out who's behind this. And there's a really good cliffhanger at the end of who the villain is. But it's just something you would never even think of before or dream up of. And I don't know how Scott found influence for these ideas, but I don't think drugs were involved. I mean, I don't think we're going into Grant Morrison territory where we're like, maybe a couple more hits. Oh, I get it now. No, no, this is fun for anyone. I don't care what you like in comic books. This is a great kind of storytelling. It's almost like, it's almost like storyboarding with the whole format. It's not traditional with the word bubbles and everything. He gives you really easy to read with 3 panels on every page, and then a nice splash or a one-page design. And it's just so beautiful to look at. It's a very pulpy influence. If you like the old, it's kind of a tip of the hat to the old comics of yesteryear, like the Jack Kirby stuff. You know, Jack was just crazy with some of his ideas, and this is kind of a nice little homage to that, if anything. And the great thing about this series is it could go and be comfortable in any era of comic books. I mean, if this were to come out 20 years ago, you know, it would fit it right in perfectly. 20 years from now, the same thing. So if you're looking for something different, if you're looking for something just completely amazing and will blow you away with the action, the colors, and all the pretty artwork, and the gorgeous pinups by Paul Pope, check out Strange Science Fantasy. You can check it out at the website IDW Publishing, and then at Scott's own website. Just search it. It was an older link from what I got. Or you can follow him on Twitter. How about that? And tell him how much you appreciate it once you pick it up. So that does it for the Book of the Month episode. Check out the written review at www.cammyscomicorner.com. I'll have a whole nice little write-up about it, and then you can, you know, use it for pull quotes for the future hardcovers. And so forth. Also, check out every Wednesday Geeky Talkie, the audio podcast I put on. And then every Sunday I have the weekly comic book review show. And also, check out my favorite covers of the week every Friday. And then at the beginning of the month, hey, that's, you know, right now the Book of the Month. And at the end, the Top Shelf Selection. So this has been Cammy's Comic Corner Book of the Month Selection. I'm going to go chill with the Shogunate now. And we're going to go take on Gigantic on a little chess match. But anyway, yes, Cammy's Comic Corner, take it easy.